Hello everyone. Today we shall look into the power controls which are present in the Power Apps. Here we have empty screen. Okay, I have taken few empty screens. In order to create a new screen, click on this new screen and you can click on this blank, you'll get a blank screen. You could insert controls by clicking on this plus button on the left, or else on the top you could see this insert menu where you could insert multiple controls over here. So these are few popular controls which are readily available on the top. Apart from this, like these controls are already present in the below sections. We shall try to explore what are those things and how it works. Here let us explore from the input section. We have this button. Okay, well, click on this button. You could see that if I press Alt and I can select this like a button, and we could for now it is false, this on select property is false. We can provide certain conditions and make the button work in the way we want. And similarly, let us take the text input. Here we have the text input. If we run this, here you'll see that I can input any sort of text here. These are all input controls where you can input anything which you want, and then the respective value could be used in other places or other sources in your application. We are just exploring what are the different types of controls present and how we could use. And if we select any particular control, you could see on the right side there are several properties that you could change with respect to format or font size or color, or there are several things that you could explore. Okay, let us click on this insert again and let us see the input option. Third one, it is pen input. Here in this pen input, if you could notice, here we have like we could make a signature. For example, if I run it, I could select this pen icon and I could make a signature or something like this, right? I could erase it, remove it. I can thicken this stroke width. I can even change the color of the pen, right? I can make this in a red color, or it may be useful for application where we could sign something or write something. Okay, let us understand further things in the input section. Here we have something called drop down. If you see drop down, here you could notice that there are multiple sample values. I'll click on Alt, and if you could see this 1 2 3, you can make it drop down. If you want other drop down, okay, in the place of these values you could create other drop down by inserting square brackets. For example, I'll write capitals like Delhi, maybe Hyderabad, Chennai, or I could write any names where it could help me with the values in the value column, right? As soon as I press Alt, I can use those drop down list. Similarly, if at all we want search option within the drop down, we have something called as combo box. I'll select this combo box. In this combo box, if I bring it over here and I'll show you, here we have in the drop down multiple things: item 1 to item 15. If at all I want item 9, I can type 9. I can select this item 9. I can type multiple I can type multiple things and select all those items which I wanted. In this way, combo box will help us to pick multiple values and use it by searching option. Okay, let us explore other controls which we have. I can click on this date picker. If you click on this date picker, you can select any particular date which you want for the required input. I can press Alt, select a particular date, year. You can, here it is this current date which is appearing. You could select the date, right? You could either move it backward. I can run it. I can choose the particular date. You can go backward, right? You can go forward. You can select the year and you can select the year, and even you could select the month, choose the respective month and click OK. Okay, this is how date picker works, and further we could utilize the respective section in other parts of application. I can here as a next control I have something called as list box. So this is a simple list box which you could see where you have this 1 2 3 values. Either you could pick multiple values or a single value, right? You can pick multiple values or a single values from the list, and you could, this is a sample list which is by default created by the Power Apps. Of course, anytime you could use other functions and you could create your sample data or connect with your SharePoint data. Okay, I'll click on insert and choose the next feature, which is checkbox. You could see checkbox, it is very simple option where you get the option. If you just select Alt, you can just click on it or you can unclick. Either you could run by selecting this, preview the app button. You can press F5, or you could just press the Alt button and you could run it in the screen itself. Okay, let us see the other buttons which is present. I have a radio button where I can get the multiple values in a radio button, where I could select one button at a time, right? And similarly we have other toggle option where I can turn off or turn on based upon the selection. Like I'll show you, if you press Alter, this is the turn on mode, this is turn off mode, we call it as toggle. And here we have slicer, where if a certain values are required for a particular range, okay, this is by default up to 100 number. You can customize it on the right side to whatever the value that you want. Maybe even you could set up to 50, and the values will range from 50 to the 0 value, right? All you need to do is just run, and you could utilize the value within the slider, and you could pick the value and use it in the source of any application. And here we have something called rating. If I click on rating, you'll have this rating style where if you press Alt and hover on it, we can choose whether it is 2 star, 3 star, and or 4 or 5 star, and based upon that we can decide the rating. And similarly we have other control, which is timer. If I select the timer, you could see that I have this timer, and you could just run it and the timer will be turned on. And here there is some setting concern where I have to fix it up, but this timer will work for you for sure once the duration is set and it is fixed. And here we have the other things. Okay, let us explore this rich text editor. If you click on this rich text editor, you'll get all the text editor features within the Power Apps. Okay, if I click on run, you could see that you can type your rich text over here. For example, this is formatted text. Okay, I can select it, bold it, italicize it, underline it. I can create a link for it, erase all the format. I can open the further drop down, realign it, indent it, and do multiple things. I can even change from normal to heading size, and this is how I could format the rich text. Okay, to understand the edit form and display form, I would like to move into the next screen. Let us click on this tree view. Let us move on to the next screen. Here let us insert the edit form. As I have shown you in the previous video, one of the previous video, we can connect to the data. If you click on this connect to data, you could search for your SharePoint data which is present. Here I have employee info currently. I'll select this employee info, or on the right side you could open this edit option. From the data source, if you open the drop down, here you could see that employee info is present. Once you click on this employee info, whatever the default columns are there, it will show you a form which is created edited by default, and you could use it. Okay, here if you see this, we have a form where I have multiple fields and I have the attachments even, and I could make it into a particular column, like one column. I could make it in a horizontal fashion where I could get the values on the left and the input values on the right. So we could adjust it. In this way edit form works. We could edit and submit by creating a button and using the functions. And similarly, let us explore about the display form. If I click on this display form, again we need to connect with the data which is present, and similarly you could select this display option, select the source, and you could display the values, and it will show all the empty values of the data, and then we could make some changes and connect with the data. Like this is the display form where it will display the values which are present. I'll select this column as 1, make it horizontal for you to understand better. You could see how edit form and display form varies at the basic level, and gradually you could build the other things accordingly. Okay, here I hope we have understood all the input options except this address input and chatbot preview, because these belong to the premium license in order to use. Okay, and let us move on to the other features. Here we have something called display features, and similar to text input we have something called text label. Okay, here I'll move on to the other screen to help you understand with few other things. Here I have something called as text label, where you can just type the text and you can use as label. I can write text label sample. So similarly you can insert another text format which is HTML text here. You could write your HTML code here, it will format it and show you accordingly. Here you have the blue color, you can change it to maybe green color, right? It will show the green color, and maybe other fonts, HTML markup language you could use and find the better ways to represent the data. Here you could earlier we used to have this Forms Pro survey which is deprecated. You could try exploring about it. We have something called layout. Here there are multiple layouts like vertical galleries, horizontal galleries. Basically this section, it is all about the gallery. In order to represent the data which we have, this gallery kind of control helps us to view the data better. By default, if we select, you could see that we have this sample data where 4 particular values with their subtitles and all those information is present. In the right side, in the layout, we can select this title and subtitle. Okay, and since we don't have images, here we have this edit option where we could edit a particular context with respect to the part, right? And suppose if we want to choose the respective employee info, I can just click on this employee info, and you'll be able to see all the employee info data which is present in our SharePoint. So this is how blank even vertical gallery, even blank vertical gallery we can create. We could use this item dot particular column of the table, and we can bring in those values. Even this feature where we could insert the option in order to select and make some functions applicable. Okay, similarly the galleries, we can show the available data to represent in multiple ways. Okay, and let us see how data table works. If I select the data table, once again let us connect with this employee info, right? And once you select the data with employee info, you'll be able to see the data in a tabular format. Okay, here, and click on this employee info, and here you could see that we have multiple columns, which is title, first name, last name, full name. Okay, and there are few other columns where you could see the data. You have the scroll bar on the bottom, you could reduce the size, and here you could see in the last there is attachments field, right? These are the several columns which are present in our SharePoint and which are saved accordingly. if at all you want to select the whole item, what you need to do is you need to go to the tree view, okay, and we have this data table. Select the whole and you'll see this option to little resize. Alright, if at all you are facing the issue with the selection, please go to the tree view and click on the screens. Wherever the screen you are able to see, you must try to open that, select the respective feature and then resize it accordingly. Okay, let us understand the container in the next few videos. And here we have few other options in order to explore about the media. For example, if I click on this image, okay, I have this image. In the left you could see that media option here. Okay, if I click on that, here we can upload multiple media. Here I have a simple image. What I can do is on the right side I can bring in the image, click on this image, select the image which is present. Here you could see that this is the image which I have in order to showcase. Okay, similarly you could insert other media. You can access your camera, you can input some 3D object. I'll click on 3D object. So by default we have some GitHub link which is provided with us with respect to source. It will take few moments to load the data and then we'll be able to see a cube. So in such a way where we could insert multiple things regarding the audio, video and even PDF viewer, we could experiment and view it, right? But map is limited with the premium source, like premium license. Apart from this, all the other features could be accessible. Okay, I hope you have understood, and let us minimize this display features and as well as the layout features. I hope you have understood. Here we have something called icons. These icons are the basic icons which could be used. For example, if I click on this plus add button, here you'll see this add button, right? See, this is a icon where you could instead of button you could say icon, where you could use it for multiple purposes while selecting it in the onSelect property. So all those are icons. You can have this icon drop down, right? If you open this icon drop down, you'll have multiple icons present over here. You can search for the icon and then you could utilize it. Even you have filter option in order to filter the respective icons over here. Once you filter, you can see what are the icons that you want regarding actions, navigation, objects and glyphs. You can click on this insert option again. You can see the shapes that you want. For example, if I want a rectangle, I can select a rectangle and you could resize it, set all the necessary properties for it and utilize it. Similarly, we have multiple shapes which are present in the shape section, and here we have something about charts. Okay, I'll show it in a new screen. I'll go to tree view. Let us click on new screen and take a blank screen. In the previous screen, if you could notice, here we have something called as 3D object, which I have shown you that it would take some time to load. Here you could see that we have a cube which is a 3D object where we could rotate it in 3 dimensions, right? And we could view it in a 3-dimensional way. And let us explore a few charts which are present in the Power Apps. I can click on the new screen. What I could do is I can go to insert and let us take this column chart. Okay, this is the sample data which is present by default within the Power Apps, where we could see this column chart with multiple colors and in gradients. We could format it by providing the respective data with respect to SharePoint or any other particular data source. Here we have line chart, where we can bring such line chart into the Power Apps. Okay, and here we have something called as similarly similar to the bar chart, like column chart and line chart, we have something called as pie chart. Okay, here you could see that we can bring in this pie chart also, where we have the legends. Make sure that you select appropriately and then resize it and put into the right place, right? You could little customize it to view better, where the size of pie chart doesn't look wrong. Okay, and similarly we have something called as Power BI tile, which could be inserted. I'll click on this new screen, open the blank screen. Okay, if I go to insert, here in the Power BI tile I have something called Power BI tile. Okay, once I open the Power BI tile, you could see that I have this data option in order to bring in the data. Here I have a Power BI service which is app.powerbi.com open. I have published a basic report which is present. Okay, I have pinned this as live report in order to view the report into the Power BI. Here we have something called as workspace. It is present in my workspace. The dashboard is pinned to live as a new car dashboard, and the tile I have this in car insurance analysis. I can click on that, and here we'll be able to see this whole data which is being represented in a live report. It will take a moment to load, and make sure that you use the same account in order to view the data within Power BI service as well as the Power Apps application. So here you could see that we have the same pinned live report which is present, and the data will be appropriately represented. I hope this is understandable. And similarly, with respect to charts, these are the 4 options which we have. Next, AI Builder options are the advanced AI features which are restricted for premium license. And we have something called mixed reality, where we could deal with advanced things of mixed reality, whether it is about measuring or viewing shapes or marking ups. Okay, I hope you have understood all the basic controls which we have. Please practice. This is all for now. Thank you for watching, and we shall meet in the next video.